All right, welcome to Dysfunctional.
We just had an appearance by the interrupting cow from the movie Home.
I'm gonna try it again, and you're gonna do it again.
I won't.
John will. Welcome to Dysfunctional Adults, the comedy podcast in which we discuss weird news, pop culture, and being middle-aged dads. I am your host, Jason, and these are my co-hosts.
Sorry. I couldn't help myself.
The illustrious Zach. and John. Say hi, John.
Hi, John.
I am so sorry.
We are bitter, cynical Gen Xers saddled with crippling debt and depressingly past our primes, but that's what makes this podcast so much fun.
And an appearance by my 5-year-old son. He loves that joke, so of course he heard me mooing, and he wants to come in and tell the knock-knock joke.
I don't blame him.
And I apologize if that was overboard.
Not at all. That's perfect. That's funny. So, and we were cooking onions, and it suddenly has gotten into my eyes, so I'm sorry about that. I will be crying, but it's not because I'm laughing.
You cry every time John's here.
I cry a lot. I'm a
Yeah, I cry
male.
when I cut onions, but it's not because of the acid. It's because of the emotional attachment to onions. I just find it incredibly sad when I cut into them.
You name them when you buy them.
I'm sorry, little buddy. It's for
Sorry,
the greater
Kevin.
good.
I have to do this.
Kevin the onion.
The stew needs some tang to it.
Oh my gosh, that's sad, and I get it. I really do. So how are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Any news? Any updates from personal lives, private lives, secret lives? Lives, I guess. Lives would be the plural of life. I'm an author.
Secret lives? That's what you said?
I am pregnant.
Oh, congratulations!
I think I said that last episode. Yeah.
It's gonna be a soccer player.
Yeah. Thought about that.
So, John, what's new in the S&M world?
Wow.
You're just going to out him?
That one kind of came out of the left field.
Well, when I found you on that website, it kind of came out of left field.
The dark web.
He's called the Chief. That's his name.
The chief.
Well, what they've done with flails nowadays has really transcended what you ever thought you could accomplish with those.
It's brought BDSM to a new level.
Yeah, I mean, all the pleasure, but without the scars. It makes the same satisfying crack, and you just don't have to explain it to your boss the next morning,
Right.
John's got another podcast called In the Dark, and you won't be able to recognize him because he's wearing one of those leather zip masks on the cover,
Like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
That reminds me, you were talking about your boss, seeing the wounds, and I remember my ex-wife going in to work and having some bruises from some decidedly vigorous
Aggressive
alone time that we may have had together, and her boss pulled her in and he's like, "Are you okay? Do you need to talk to somebody?"
Is he hitting you?
Yeah, it was I got to hear about that.
She's like, well, yes, but I hit him much harder.
Yeah.
He gets the worst of our alone time for sure.
We have a safe word. Oh man, that's
We'll see if I cut that.
well, John, congratulations on 100,000 followers on your In the Dark podcast. So.
Yeah, fantastic.
So look
man.
it up on Apple. It's got a mature rating, but it's all things whips, change, and sex. So chains.
With a comedic twist.
So I was watching TikTok, and there's this lady talking about how she'd cut her lip. She had a big gash in her lip, and she was on her way to the emergency room. Apparently, her and her husband had procured a sex swing. And she had...
From like Craigslist or
I think
KSL.com.
It was a swing from like a child's playground, and they just put it in their house.
I'm pretty sure it was someplace like Adam and Eve, Who should sponsor us, by the way, damn it.
Actually, that's a good idea.
We'll just have to do Zach's weekly dildo review.
I've made it to 5 inches today, guys.
You're like,
Here
I've got this big black one. I call it Idris Elba.
he is very good looking.
Anyway, I guess they put it together, because I guess she put them together, like a baby swing, and she'd sat in it, and it collapsed, and it hit her on the lip, and she showed, like, the gash.
Oh, no.
Try explaining that, kind of in line with one of our previous episodes where we talked about
I'd just make something up. Say your
sex
spouse
to the-
hit you or something. Like that.
Yeah, let's not
That's
tell
less
the truth.
embarrassing than telling the truth on that one.
Oh my gosh! And
I was at Walmart, and this was after my ex-wife had busted her face. She had gone over her bike. She was a road cyclist, and she went over and shattered her cheek and everything, and so she looked awful. Like, and I remember being in the aisle, and I was saying something to her, and she thought it would be really funny to walk away from me as if I was attacking her, saying, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me!"
that's hilarious.
Yeah, and she doesn't understand that I'm 5'11", 250 pounds. Like, I'm a big dude, and that can be misconstrued as real, and there is going to be somebody out there that might want to do something about it and beat my ass. Like, that shit is
Some,
not
like,
funny.
Like soldier on leave, you know.
Yeah.
Like a Marine or
Yeah,
something.
he's like, "What are you doing?" Zach Galifianakis is beating that woman.
Yeah. Poor guy would get such a bad name, and it's not even his fault. But yeah, that stuff, you got to be careful.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, so, but yeah. So, what have you guys been up to?
Eating a lot of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I smear it on different surfaces to see if it tastes different. You know how like it's like perfume, like you put it on and it
Carpet.
smells different on you than it does me. But yeah,
Wall.
yeah. So far, my findings have been really not. I'm just getting fat.
You're just keeping a note journal, like a notebook journal of like your experiment. You know.
Right, first creamy, then crunchy. Yeah.
It's like 12:00 Tuesday. You know. Bright ascension. 53 degrees.
Yep.
It's like, why do you have the sky?
Just smear it on the back of my cat.
Smeared on cat proved unsuccessful.
Resulted in wounds.
I'm scratched. I'm gonna blame it on my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nice.
cool. So did you take any trips this last week?
Yeah, actually, we took the family up to Boise to visit
I just have one
some
question
in-laws.
for you. Why would you do that to your family?
So
I've been to Boise.
I think it's an underrated city. It's like a mini Salt Lake. But but on your point, there was actually something I was going to mention about that. But about 15 years ago, I went to Wise Guys, and the comedian, I'm like 90% sure it was Marcus. But
From Area 52.
yeah, he's a hilarious local comedian. I love Marcus. But anyway, I say 90% because I'm going off of 15-year-old memories here, and I don't want to ascribe something to someone, the wrong person. But anyway, this comedian hated Idaho. He like had a whole bit about everything he hated about Idaho, and the thing I remember most is he said like, as soon as you cross like the state line, they should have this, big sign, welcome to Idaho, and then have a statue of a demon raping a unicorn. He said that sums up Idaho perfectly. And even though 15 years later, that's still what I think of every time I go there. Like, I disagree with his opinion of Idaho. I think it's perfectly fine. But I happen to marry a woman from Idaho. And so every time we go there, and I cross the state lines, I see the sign, welcome to Idaho, and that's all I can think of is the demon raping the unicorn. So, Marcus, or whoever that was, thank you for putting that in my head. And that's not even sarcasm. It really does make me smile every time I pass the Idaho state line.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
I actually do have one more thing from Idaho that I thought of that kind of caused me to rethink how I see certain things in the world. Anyway, okay, we went to their minor league, a baseball game for their minor league team, the Boise Hawks. And the mascot, the Boise Hawk himself, was doing the rounds and was in our section, and he was giving away a free pizza. Like he'd point to certain crowds and they'd cheer, and he pointed to us and we cheered, and he ended up giving the pizza to us, and I don't know why. Maybe we cheered loudest. Maybe he just thought we needed it. Like he looked at me and was like, "Oh, that guy, that poor homeless man. He looks and smells like he hasn't had a bath in months." Anyway, we got the free pizza, and we ate it. It was fine. But afterwards, I was kind of thinking, like, if a stranger off the street offered you a free pizza in the park, you would say no.
I'll take it.
Okay, well, you're kind of killing where I'm going with this.
Sorry.
You take it. I think most people would say no. But because this guy was dressed like a mascot, we ate it without question. It's like, think about that. Somehow having an oversized cartoon bird head made this guy more trustworthy. Like, he probably brought that pizza up from the bathroom after, rubbing his red feathered bird dong all over it for 20 minutes.
Bird dong.
I mean, that explained like all the little feathery curlies that were all over it. But yeah, that just seemed like the oddest thing. It's like, am I going to have to add a caveat to the next time I have the stranger danger conversation with my son? Like, okay, don't take candy from strangers unless they're dressed like a bird. Then it's okay.
Or a tiger.
Yeah, because...
Or an owl.
Yeah.
I guess an owl's a bird.
But yeah, I have no idea who this guy was. I have no idea what he did to that pizza, and I assume mascot costumes have got to be anatomically correct, right?
Right.
Like, you can only see the head and the hands, but underneath that baseball uniform, there's got to be some comically oversized bird junk, right, to match the head.
I don't think they make them that way.
Until I see that without the baseball uniform, I'm going to assume the costume goes all the way down and it's completely anatomically correct.
So you make a good point. I think the fact that this person was dressed up gave them, like, authority.
Yeah.
Like, he's safe.
Isn't that like the most back-ass words thinking?
Yes.
It really is.
We're like putting them on like a level of like a doctor, like.
Well, you shouldn't have let him give you a proctology exam.
I don't know. That feathers kind of ease the pain a little bit.
I can see that. It tickles.
But like a doctor, we let them do some kind of invasive stuff on us because, hey, they're a doctor. You can trust them.
Right.
But apparently we can accept treats from strangers because, hey, they're a mascot.
Right.
We can trust them.
Well, it's funny because it feeds into that whole, like, stranger in the van thing. Like, you're talking about accepting food from someone dressed like a cartoon bird, right?
Yeah.
Well, how different is that from accepting candy from the guy driving, the van, or, the clown at the birthday party who showed you his no-no zone?
Yeah, and I think people would realize those people are weirdos. We're not going to accept stuff from them. But if any random person in the stands came up, hey, here's a free pizza. I don't
He's
think...
holding it, like, waist high.
Yeah, I don't. It'd be like the dick in the box thing when he opens up. I don't think I would accept it, but because this guy was dressed like a bird, no questions asked, we scarfed down that pizza. He's probably laughing under that giant, oversized head.
Take that a step further. It really doesn't make sense that we trust teenagers at fast food restaurants. I mean, these people are angst-ridden. They're pissed off at authority and adults. Yeah. Like, you make the wrong move, you're going to be eating snot or something else.
Or worse.
Worse.
Yeah. I've heard some horror stories.
And yeah, they're getting paid minimum wage. They don't care if they get fired. What's it to them,
Right.
It's funny. I went to Arby's last night to get some ice cream, and I drove up to the window. I'm like, I'm always friendly. I always try to talk to him, Like, hey, how's it going? No response. He just shoves the card reader out the window and holds it. Like, okay, so I get my card out and I put it in and pull it out, and then I start putting.
And then the card too, or.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I take the machine. I took his card scanner and ran. That's for not being a decent human being, bitch. No, but so I'm putting my card back on the wall. I look up and he's just holding the ice cream like almost in my face. I'm like, okay. And it's just really funny because it's funny you mentioned that. I'm like, hi, nothing.
Yeah.
He said zero things to me. But it was just kind of funny because it just, I don't know, reminded me a little bit of Will Smith in Men in Black, when he's trying to talk to the agents there, nobody's really responding to him, they're just doing their job. And I'm that guy.
Hey, guys.
Anyway, sorry, I took your thing.
No, not at all. No.
Moral of the story, be careful which mascots you trust.
I think I'm going the opposite with the moral. Boys and girls, if you want credibility, like for a job interview, show up dressed like a bird. It worked in this one specific situation, so we can only assume it will work in all situations.
And offer free pizza.
Offer free pizza. Show up dressed like a hawk. Hand them a pizza. You will get that job.
I just realized something. We accept pizza from an oversized mouse. Chuck E. Cheese. Maybe that's where that came from. Maybe your childhood has been programmed to accept pizza from giant mascots.
giant, oversized cartoon animals.
You may want to talk to your therapist about all this.
I think we got to the bottom of this. I think I know why John trusts mascots. And then there's the jazz bear. Everybody loved the jazz bear.
Yeah.
Before he died in that horrible accident.
I don't remember that happening.
Oh, nobody found out about it yet.
I think it hasn't happened yet, and you're planning on it. If it happens a week from now, we know where to look.
Did he get fired?
Yeah, but there's a new guy now inside it. So
it's got a new host. It's like a demon
parasite or a
You can't fire the jazz bear. You can just fire the guy inside the jazz bear.
It's funny, like there's nothing in there.
Probably for giving out pizzas that he dragged his fuzzy bear junk across.
I think it'd be funny if someone made the guy take off the hood and there was nothing inside. It's just like animated by a demon.
But hey, he gets a paycheck and he's happy, so better gig than possessing a 14-year-old girl making her puke.
That's true. That's a reference to The Exorcist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Spoilers, dude.
You know what?
That movie's only 50 years old. I haven't seen it yet.
You know what's funny is I read or listened to actually a book by an actual psychiatrist who helped the Catholic Church evaluate whether or not people were really possessed.
Interesting.
It was really interesting. Like, he was a believer. He believed. He had some really scary stories. But it was almost boring at times because it was so clinical.
Uh-huh.
And that gave a kind of like legitimacy to his accounts. But he had some pretty scary stories.
Interesting.
You should listen to it. It's on my Audible.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
But yeah, he talked a little bit about The Exorcist. But he would the Catholic Church would hire him to go evaluate potential people who needed exorcism to see if it was just mental illness.
Wow.
And they actually have an established criteria for like how to tell.
I was looking up mental illness versus, clairvoyance and demon. Yeah, for real though. I was looking it up last night to see, and there's a lot of studies on it, but my ADD was out of control last night, so I couldn't really concentrate on what I was reading. But, there's something to be said about people hearing voices, whether or not it's, because if it's accurate, and there's no reason in the universe that this person should know this stuff, then you can't quite call it mental illness.
That actually happened to him. He told a story about how before he met this one lady, he had an appointment with her like the following day. His cat suddenly started fighting for no reason. It was weird. He just separated him, said, whatever, cats are weird. Well, the next day, the lady and the priest came over to his house, and the first thing she says to him was like, "How did you like that thing with the cats last night?"
Yeah, that's
and it was pretty crazy because she had that gift, I guess, from Satan. Is what she said. That she could remote view and cause things. And anyway, it was just really crazy. You'll have to take a listen to it.
Yeah, the some of the things I read real quick before, so we can get back to funny stuff instead of all the serious shit.
Demons and
was that
Mascot.
People that experience trauma, which leads to mental illnesses, obviously, have a thinner kind of veil to the spirit world or the paranormal or whatever. And there's a fine line between mental illness and true paranormal activity. It's kind of crazy, but who knows?
Yeah, I have some beliefs that kind of align with that a little bit.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, funny stuff.
You don't think demons are funny?
I think they probably have senses of humor. But
Absolutely.
I definitely wouldn't want to be around one. And on that note, let's take a quick break.
Absolutely. If you're still here when we get back, awesome.
Coming up, more demon-possessed mascots.
Or something else. Probably something else.
Hopefully.
All right, welcome back to Dysfunctional Adults. I'm Jason, and I'm your host tonight with
Hi,
two
Jason.
co-hosts. I'll just call you coasts.
Coasts?
Because I'm just lazy, and I'm pretty sure that's where the southern dialect came from.
Co-host is such a long word to say.
Well, I served my LDS mission in the South, and they just blur words together because it's just easier, and I can't fault them for that.
Nah.
Y'all.
I mean, it takes
language
seconds
evolves.
to say the real word.
Or in this case, devolve.
Yeah. Well, there's that's more serious stuff. Let's just never mind.
Well, what's funny is like the more northern I went, the more like language. They'd still have that cute southern drawl, but the more the language would like become, I guess,
civilized,
understandable.
Sure.
The further south I went, the less. Like, I met a guy who was just like the guy on The Waterboy, the Cajun dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I seriously met a guy named Max who talked like that. And his brother, who sounded like Foghorn Leghorn
Oh,
would
nice.
interpret for him.
That's fantastic.
Max says that his wife stabbed him. True story.
Oh,
And they were still together. She stabbed him once. So
well, I mean, sometimes you gotta prove a point.
yeah, that's true. So
Or it's that S&M thing we were talking about. Just went a little too far.
Quit plugging your podcast, John.
Sorry.
Was it 2 meters into the dark? Is that what we call it?
How long is 2 meters?
Basement of pleasure. I got a couple other ones I can shoot out for if you need a title. But anyway, speaking of wives, my wife and I were talking. Her sister's getting married soon, and we were talking about like the different things that friends do for the grooms, and the different things that friends do for the brides. And one thing that came up was, she's like, "Yeah, I gotta buy some lingerie for my sister." And I'm like, "What?" And I guess it's a girl thing. I guess it's a normal thing for women when their close friends are getting married. They go like lingerie shopping with them.
That is so weird. It's like, Zach, I'm going to buy you a jock strap next time you're getting married. How's that
I'm
sound?
trying to see the problem with this. Keep going, though.
Does that sound like appropriate?
Or elephant underwear, you know?
Yeah.
Or,
Here's some leopard print Speedos for your
Right.
bachelor party.
That is
Guys,
interesting.
let's head to Dr. John's. Zach's getting married tomorrow.
Yeah, let's see if we can get him a
Let's
nice
find something
fleshlight.
sexy. Look, Zach, this butt plug is just your size. You know,
You know my size. I love that. Yeah.
It's a hand-me-down. I loved it. You'll love it too.
No.
Don't worry. I
gave
washed it with sanitizer.
I gave it a light wash before giving it to you. I rinsed it off in the sink for a second or two.
But it's just a weird thing I'd never really considered. Like, I wouldn't go with you guys to a sex shop unless we were like, going to make fun of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
I
There is a thing about guys wanting to get together to get horny together. Hey, you all want to go to the strip club together? Like, what is...
okay, well, I get that.
It's weird to me, though, a little bit.
I mean, I actually have zero desire to go to a strip club. Because it's weird. I don't think I could get my freak on, you know. Or, well, I guess you don't.
See, I
you
always,
don't do anything. You just kind of.
I thought that'd be I'm kind of with Zach. Like but I know a lot of guys don't think like that. But if I went to a strip club, I think it would be awkward to be sitting there with your buddies. It's kind of like a private moment in a public place.
Right. Hey, John, you got a boner yet?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, yeah, look at that, man.
Yeah, that's
All 4 inches, you know.
good thing you wore your sweatpants and nothing else.
Yeah, I think that would be awkward. But I know a lot of guys think differently on that. But
Yeah, I'm not judging them by any means. I just don't get it.
Yeah, same. Buying each other underwear, I don't get that at all.
right. Like, I think your husband will find this super sexy. It's like, what? Like, what? You know, I don't. I guess it's a girl thing because I
Well,
Yeah.
you know what else guys apparently don't do? Throw each other a bachelor party when they're the best man, Jason.
I could have sworn I throw you one.
No, and I've been married twice, and I've never had one.
He hallucinated the whole thing, too. You guys had a great time.
I had a bachelor party for you in your honor.
I wasn't there.
I know.
You never
No
told me
one
about
was. I
it.
was on my computer.
I didn't have one either, if it makes you feel any better.
I'm so sorry, and I dropped the ball on that. If it's any like
I'm just
consolation, I don't think I
messing with
gave
you,
Bryce one either.
You are like the crappiest best man of all time.
In my defense, I had to be the best man twice in 2 months, so there's only so much you can handle, right?
She decided to
That's
say,
true.
screw it to both of them. I'm not doing a thing.
I thought the birthday rule applied. You know, where we don't buy each other gifts.
Well, a birthday is something that happens every year. A wedding's hopefully
I've
not.
been married twice. I don't plan on ever getting married again, but because I found the one. But you know,
Yes. I'm just messing with you, man. I really
know.
didn't care.
I legitimately felt bad.
I give you crap about that, but really does not bother me.
For the record, John threw me a bachelor party
I did.
twice.
Because that's
Nice.
what a best man's supposed to do.
Hey, this is what you get when you have friends with mental illness. That's your fault. You should know better.
Nice gaslighting.
Yeah. It's on you for picking me to be your best man. You should have known I was going to half-ass it at best. I mean, I've known you 30 years. I should have expected.
Aw. This is like the most serious and sad podcast we've ever had. Like,
Demon possession.
Yeah.
Mascots, all that creepy stuff that
you
keeps
two
us
are
at
breaking
nights.
up, apparently.
No,
No,
we're
I know.
just taking some time.
Well, are you? Because I'm. Is it my fault?
Who gets custody of Zach if we break up?
Let the record show Zach just spit out his water.
Got all over my face too.
You could have him on the weekends.
It's like when you get divorced, you have to divide up your friends, you know?
Yeah.
There's her friends and my friends. You can't hang out with both couples, so...
Now remember, I have a son, so you get custody of both of us. So however you want to split that.
On that note, Zach, I heard you had a movie review on Masters of the Universe together.
Yeah,
I heard there's
absolutely.
been some controversy, and I just want to understand. I haven't seen it yet. What are the things people saying that make this so controversial?
So you've got two camps. Well, probably three. You got the people that don't care either way. Then you have the fans, 40-year-olds, Gen Xers, virgins, me. And no, but you have the fans that are angry about what happened in the story because they feel that it is not He-Man, basically.
It's not true to the source material, yeah.
Correct. And then you have this other camp that is... it's a backlash against the other camp. They're saying that the people that are hating on Masters of the Universe are sexist and maybe even racist. I don't even know. But that because you haven't, whatever he is, I hate it. But that people that have a negative opinion of the new Masters of the Universe, they are automatically vilified because they don't like it. Like, if you don't like it, you're not woke. It's just like, and it's obvious by what I'm saying, what side I'm on for the most part, but I have my reasons, and I shouldn't have to explain it in order to prove that I'm not sexist or anything by any means. But let it be said that if you wanted to make a She-Ra show, you should have made a She-Ra show instead of taking the source material.
I thought there was a new She-Ra.
Oh, there might be, but
it just came out.
But
it's not the same.
It's not what they were touting this Masters of the Universe to be. I am all for inclusion. I'm all for representation. Let's do it. But like the story, the writing. I mean, there were just things about it that, regardless, even if He-Man was in it the whole time, the writing was still shit. Like, it was crap. They forced it. They pushed it too far.
I heard there were some controversial scenes.
Like, there was actual death in it. What do you mean controversial? Like,
the He-Man Skeletor sex scene.
Yeah, the He-Man. Yeah,
probably could have cut that out.
Yeah, that was in there. The whole Ewok thing, I didn't understand because there was no...
The Orko full frontal scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I never wanted to see what was underneath his
You didn't?
Well...
I did.
Apparently, we're talking like garden hose.
Yeah, this dude, I don't know how he coiled that up and wrapped it around like a belt or whatever, but...
Has like a crane.
Why did we need to see Orko's penis? I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. Kevin Smith was making some weird decisions, man.
Yeah.
The same thing with the meth addict scene. Like why...
When like Prince Adam was like doing lines and stuff.
Yeah, with his dad, and they're watching porn.
On what?
Off of a hooker's ass.
Right.
Yeah. That was a weird choice that Kevin Smith went in that direction,
Yeah.
I thought.
He just, I don't feel that it was fair to the source material at all.
And I thought it was weird when Skeletor took off his face, he just had another skeleton underneath.
I have nothing to say to that.
It's like it's a mask the whole time. You see him taking off. It's like, oh,
right.
An actual skull underneath the skull mask.
Right.
That was anticlimactic.
Yeah, I don't know. He-Man and Skeletor being in love, it kind of killed the whole thing for me.
I saw that one parody commercial where they were dancing.
That was so funny.
That was pretty good.
That was great.
But they actually animated him and put it in the new Masters of the Universe.
Right. He's just ripping off material. He has no... Kevin Smith didn't care.
I was okay with that. I thought it was beautiful. I mean, they had been enemies for so long, and then to finally realize it was just sexual tension this whole time.
That's true, I guess.
You know?
But you would think that when Prince Adam turns from Prince Adam to He-Man, that everything would get bigger. Oh, no.
He-Man roids out, so he's going to have a small...
Oh, that's true.
Like marble size.
Magic roids.
That's the power of Grayskull, baby.
Yeah.
All right,
no, so for real though, it was fine, but I just didn't care for it.
Okay, I still need to watch it. I'll watch it sometime. So, well, Well, great. Well, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with show and tell. Sound good?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have to have consensus before we go to break.
Yeah, I know. So here it is. We're a hung jury. Yeah, no. Okay.
A well-hung jury.
Speak for yourself.
Wait.
I am. Trust me, I am.
That wasn't a... Sad. All right, thanks for coming back. And
If you did.
Klaus, we're talking to you.
We love you, Klaus. If that's your... Dude, whoever is listening in Germany, please hit us up on Facebook or I don't know if you can on Spotify. I don't think there's comments or whatever, but...
No, go to our Spacebook.
Yeah, go to our Facebook. Go to
like
our
Facebook,
U-Bone.
but cosmic.
I'm done. I quit. Mic drop. All right. So who wants to go first today?
I'll go first. I don't think I ever go first. So, as you guys know, I love Cracked, the old magazine that is now online, cracked.com. These are by Chris Scott, Pete Smith, Israel S.H., Julia Lang, Peter I. Santiago, Angel Summers, T. Yin Rui. Sorry if I butchered that, like you're listening. Eric Knopf. And this was written on April 7th, 2020. So, Ayoub El Kazani is the man behind the 2015 Paris train attacks, an event made famous in Clint Eastwood's 2018 movie, The 1517 to Paris, in his ongoing quest to make a movie out of every single news story. El Kazani boarded the Dallas train with an assault rifle, nearly 300 rounds of ammunition, an automatic pistol, a box cutter, and some gasoline with the intention of killing every passenger. Fortunately, he failed to achieve any of this as he was restrained and apprehended by some American soldiers traveling on board. The movie starred the actual Americans involved in the event in what was essentially a $50 million segment of America's Most Wanted.
Wow.
Authorities say El Kazani had ties to hardline Islamist groups and was clearly planning an act of terror, but Kazani denied the allegations, stating that he was merely a homeless man who found all the weapons by chance in a French park. In fact, he was allegedly dumbfounded that his obvious act of terrorism was being called an act of terrorism. This is clearly one of those modern litter problems that many large cities have these days. Scores of environmental ne'er-do-wells too lazy to dispose of their assault rifle in proper receptacles. Hopefully, the French government starts issuing fines for casually tossing hundreds of rounds of ammunition onto the ground. After all, it leads to Clint Eastwood movies. So, that being said, I realized I forgot to read the title. 8 stupid excuses given by people who got caught.
Nice.
A man who had sex with a dolphin claimed the dolphin seduced him. John. Malcolm Brenner started having sex with a female dolphin named Dolly at a now defunct Florida water park in 1971.
Is it defunct because of that incident?
I'm assuming so. Sorry to just drop that on you, but there's no tactful way to ease into dolphin. The affair that lasted a year was categorically not animal abuse. Yeah, we lost Jason. He's done.
I'm not thinking like a single incident. This is a long-term relationship.
It sounds like it. And they're smart enough, I guess. The affair that lasted a year was categorically not animal abuse, Brenner claims, because she seduced him. He didn't go into her habitat with the intention of getting all shape of the water with it, but Dolly had a telepathic connection with him through which she communicated her desires and even went so far as to rub her vulva on him. What was he supposed to do? Not have sex with a dolphin? like you would have done any different. I just want you guys to know that means no. In fact, the way Brenner describes it, Dolly was downright abusive. If he resisted her advances, she would beat him up, once pushing him to the bottom of the 12-foot pool.
You know, he can just not go in the dolphin enclosure to begin with, right? She lives in the water and he lives on land. There's not a whole lot she could do if he's not willing to go in there with her.
Maybe she involved.
Just saying.
How dare you, siren, with your bottleneck siren song? Oh, no, sorry.
We got it. We understood. I'm going to pet you. She also physically threw his girlfriend out of the pool once.
What?
Sidebar, imagine being that girlfriend.
Wait. Dolphin? What? Threesome?
It doesn't say. It still seems like the logical solution is to stop getting in the pool with the rapist dolphin, but we're not here to victim blame. Not that Brenner even sees himself as a victim. He's more than happy to tell you all about it in his steamy, self-published memoir, Wet Goddess. A title that is upsetting for a lot of reasons, but mostly because that's the best he could do.
Hey, if you can think of a better way to create a family of mermaids, I'd like to hear it.
Oh, man, that was gold. A restaurant owner claimed he didn't have enough space to not be racist. In 2016, residents of Lawndale, Minnesota were alarmed by the sign outside of the Treats Family Restaurant, and not because it advertised a mystery item called CB Fry. Alongside offers of food and ice cream were the words, "Muslims get out," a presumed response to a recent incident in nearby St. Cloud in which a Somali-American man had stabbed 8 people. As protesters gathered, however, owner Dan Rudinger was shocked by the response to what he claimed was a perfectly innocent, non-racist message of support for his neighbors. You know, specific neighbors. "We were going to put Muslim extremists, but we didn't have enough room on the board," Rudinger explained. "Now people started taking it the wrong way, thinking we were against Muslims in general." This guy's an idiot. Man caught masturbating publicly blamed a groundhog. Perfect. This is on par with what we do here.
You'll love my stories then.
Perfect. In August 2017, a woman at Kentucky Park was just trying to enjoy a wholesome game of whatever people do in parks, probably frolf. I don't even know what frolf is.
Frisbee golf.
Oh, okay, frolf.
Why do you know that?
He's cool.
I may have played frolf before, and I did not call it that. I have self-respect.
actually want to play it.
Sounds like a
It's
Muppet.
disc golf, right? Same thing?
Yeah, disc golf.
Yeah, I actually
Frisbee
enjoy
golf,
it.
Frolf.
Anyway, she noticed a weird dude hanging around and paying an inordinate amount of attention to the frolfers, and by the time she managed to get a real look at him, he had his pants down and his hand firmly on his own club. She called the police to report Shooter McGrabbin, but he had already fled on a moped because sex offenders aren't allowed to have cool escape vehicles. When they caught up to him, 53-year-old Robert McCoy insisted it was all a misunderstanding. What appeared to be a sex crime, he explained, was actually the unfortunate aftermath of a groundhog that startled him out of his pants while he was peeing. It must be a coincidence, then, that McCoy had a long history of sexual offenses that had already forced him to register on some unsavory lists.
They were all groundhog related. Those things follow him around.
It's happened to me. It's happened to you. You've been taking a whiz in the park, a groundhog pops up, and you just drop your pants.
Maybe once, but not multiple times.
And then you go to cover yourself, and then people look over because they're playing frolf, and they're like, "Pervert!"
A man blamed a bear attack for violating his parole. In 2016, Stephen Boyd of Great Falls, Montana, failed to notify his parole officer that he'd lost his job and moved out of his home. In fact, Boyd stopped reporting altogether. But he had a reasonable explanation. Recovering from a grizzly bear attack. According to Boyd, "He hit me like a Volkswagen with fur," which the bear probably took as an insult. He couldn't have been a Charger with fur, at least a Bronco. Come on, man. But Boyd's bad luck didn't end with the Ursine assault. He promptly got lost in the woods for 3 weeks, during which time he also ran afoul of some hornets, and wouldn't you know it, he's allergic to those. At the end of his ordeal, he finally reached his father's house, hundreds of miles from Great Falls, where he manfully refused any medical treatment that would have corroborated his story. It was a story that surely captivated his fellow inmates over the next 2 years.
Nice.
Manfully refused.
That's it for me.
That's awesome.
All right, nice.
The dolphin. That's long-term relationship.
My goodness. I
It's
don't
like
know
an
why that
abusive
wasn't number one.
relationship. He keeps going back,
Yeah.
knowing the
Poor guy.
dolphin's just going to take advantage of him again, and
Yeah, the trauma that he lives
but he
with.
just can't walk away from the situation.
I'll go next. So this is stories from Walmart workers about the craziest things they've seen. It's in
Nice.
Cosmopolitan. It's by Kate Beckman. It's actually from a few years ago, but Walmart stories never get old. So, number one, I'm not going to read them all, but these are some of the highlights. There was a man using the hose we use to water our plants, showering naked in the parking lot. He had put up a sheet to block one side, but people could still see everything. When the manager told him to leave, he acted like there was nothing weird about it. He was extremely nonchalant, like he did this all the time. He just packed up his sheet, got in his car, and left. So there was a group of 2 guys and 3 girls. They were in the kids section, and the girls were throwing these big bouncy balls over the shelves to the other side, trying to hit the boys who were riding bikes down the aisle. Then they grabbed their skateboards and were riding them through and around the store, throwing random things into customers' carts. They wouldn't stop, so we had to call the cops to escort them out.
Nice.
Wow. Sounds like a fun night. The maintenance guy was cleaning the bathroom near the back of the store, and a woman asked him to stop mopping so she could use the bathroom. He told her he couldn't let her in because the floor was wet, but she could use the bathroom near the front of the store. She went to the infant's clothing department and peed and pooped on the floor. She also managed to hide her face from the camera the entire time, so we couldn't even identify her to press charges.
Wow.
Nice.
I was working at the service desk, and a woman rushes up and says she needs to talk to my manager. I sometimes could fix the problem, so I asked her what she needed help with. Then she started yelling at me at the top of her lungs, saying that the bathroom was closed and she peed on herself because it was closed. I explained that there was another bathroom in a different part of the store that was open. In the middle of me explaining that, she runs out of the store before I could get my manager. I never saw her again. Finally, a woman came to guest service saying she wanted to return a basket because it was haunted. I asked her what she meant. She said her boyfriend took a picture of it, and there was electrical frequency surrounding it, and she couldn't keep it in her house. She had the receipt, so she was able to return it, but I still don't understand how a basket could be haunted.
For real.
So anyway, there's some other funny ones. Guys coming in gorilla suits, a lady throwing change on the floor and making them leave it there. Walmart be crazy.
Walmart be crazy for real.
So that's my contribution tonight. So, haunted baskets, they are a real thing.
The basket one reminds me of something I want to do at my job so badly, but I don't because I kind of want some credibility at my job. Without mentioning where I work, I do quality control for a furniture company. And I so want to return an entire container of product and say, these chairs were haunted. I want to see hear the response of the rep of these big name companies when I try and get our money back for a whole container saying it was haunted. It's just something that's crossed my head, and it's I can't bring myself to do it because I
need a job.
Yeah. But if I say, we expect a few ghosts on every container, but the ghost per square footage on this container was way past industry standards.
This is a full-on poltergeist.
Yeah, it was well past the acceptable limit of ghosts per square foot. We're going to have to return all of these.
I can just see you going through the warehouse with that PK meter from Ghostbusters. Wanding all the...
Fine, haunted, fine, haunted. Putting them up to the side. Returning them all.
All right.
Or possessed or something. Say these TVs have a demon inside them or something.
Yeah.
Keep turning on, and none of them, they're not even plugged in. They keep turning on.
So you have to take them home.
Yeah, I gotta take them all home and test them.
Bummer.
Anyway, I've resisted the urge thus far to do do that because you said I need a job.
Well, on your last day,
I want credibility
when you retire, go out with a bang, baby.
Yes.
You're up.
Anyway.
That's awesome, by the way. You'd have my respect forever if you did that.
I don't think I'd have my wife's respect
or a job.
She'd probably find it less funny than you do. This one, it's actually one, Jason, you sent us as a meme a few months back, but here's the actual article for it.
Okay.
It's from Gawker. I mean, you can find the same thing in many other publications, but this one's by Jordan Sargent. It's from January 22nd, 2013. It's filed under drugs. And, okay. The title really says it all, but I'm going to read most of the article anyway. Naked Florida man, of course, jumps off roof onto homeowner, then goes inside, knocks television over, empties vacuum cleaner, masturbates. That's the title. That kind of tells you everything you need to know, but anyway. January 21st, an unnamed North Fort Myers resident is lying in bed relaxing after a hard day's work. Just after 7 p.m., he hears a noise coming from his roof. He thinks it sounds like thunder. He goes outside to investigate the disturbance when he sees 21-year-old Gregory Matthew Brunei running on top of his house naked. Brunei then runs from the runs and leaps from the roof, tackling the man. And from there, Brunei runs into the house. It says, hell-bent on destruction. He sees a large television minding its own business and knocks it off its stand. He then spies a vacuum cleaner. How do you terrorize a vacuum cleaner? You don't. You just empty its contents back onto the floor. And from there, that's when things finally start to get weird. Let's see. It said he was heading towards the couple's adult son's bedroom, where some guns are stored. So the man's wife fired 3 warning shots. So Brunei acted like he was hit, fell to the ground, and then did what we'd all do and started pleasuring himself. Then he got up off the floor, ran into the son's bedroom, and began rubbing clothing all over his face.
Oh,
no. The husband came back in, was able to subdue him. The police were called. They apprehended a flailing and babbling Brunei and had to taser him. He's taken to the hospital, and doctors say they could not even identify what drugs he was on. My guess is all of them. Police charged Brunei with 2 counts of criminal mischief, battery, occupied burglary, and resisting arrest without violence.
No masturbating in public charge?
Apparently not.
it was inside the house.
It was, I guess.
Let's say he got off on those charges.
I'm guessing bath salts, by the way.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sounds like bath salts.
At least he didn't eat anyone's face.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's
Could've been
happened
worse.
before. But I think it'd be funny, like, if they tased him and, like... Anyway, never mind. He reached climax at the same time. It would have been funny.
That was
Hit me
awesome.
again! Hit me again!
One more time.
I like this. You might want to cut that out. That was dark.
So, on a related note, this next story, I had to look it up to make sure it was even real.
Oh wow.
But it's published in multiple various sources. This one is from Audi, July 23rd, 2021, by someone named Isle Capilla. Here's the title. Unknown man is called in libraries to masturbate to court cases. Or one specific court case.
What?
I'm going to explain that. It says, yeah, you read that right. You're now probably wishing you didn't. Okay, let's...
No, I'm into it. Let's go.
The shtick is always the same. There's really no way around how bizarre this is, so let's just cut to the chase. An unidentified man is calling libraries around the country so he can masturbate to the details of a court case. The shtick is always the same. A phone rings at a library, and the librarian picks it up with a friendly, "How can I help you?" On the other end is a man who wants information about a court case, specifically the Brady versus Maryland case from 1963. He claims that he doesn't have a computer and asks the librarian to read the case file out loud so he can take notes.
Oh no.
As the librarian reads the file, it soon becomes clear that the man is enjoying what he's hearing a bit too much. Yeah, he's pleasuring himself to the text of a court decision. In case the heavy breathing and other noises don't make it apparent, he'll also say such wonderful things as, "Oh yeah, give it to me. Give me that exculpatory evidence.
Oh no.
Spank those prosecutors." Like we said, this hasn't been a one-time thing either. The man has harassed librarians in several states and apparently will continue to do so until someone stops him. One anonymous librarian detailed their encounter with the court case pervert on their blog. He's called multiple libraries and done this, and the FBI is supposedly involved and can't catch this pervert that's just calling libraries and getting off on librarians reading about some random court case they wrote.
Don't kink shame him.
I know how to stop him.
And not only that, it says this may not be the first time the man has terrorized libraries. There was a similar incident a few years back from what they think was the same guy who used to call libraries asking for John Grisham titles to be read to him out loud and then pleasuring himself to them. Like, "Oh yeah, the Pelican Brief. Yeah, say it again. Runaway Jury. Oh yeah. Oh, the Firm. I got something firm right here.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that sexy, sexy judicial process."
I will never be able to read John Grisham again.
Okay, and it says, by now you might be wondering, what's so special about the Brady versus Maryland case? Do the case files detail some kind of sexual assault, or is it a case concerning pornography, perhaps? And that's the weirdest thing about this. There's absolutely nothing about Brady versus Maryland that anyone would write even remotely titillating. It's pretty much your bog standard court case concerning the judiciary process. It's only significant in that the U.S. Supreme Court determined that the prosecution must hand over all evidence.
John, stop. I'm getting aroused.
I knew this sounded familiar. It's the case that determined that the prosecution must hand over all evidence that could exonerate a defendant to the defense. It says, did that get you all hot and bothered? Yeah, it didn't do it for us either. It says, even the case behind the Brady versus Maryland decision isn't sexy in any conceivable way. It's about two men who were sentenced to death for the 1958 first-degree murder of an older man.
Oh, man.
Wow.
The prosecution didn't deliver to the defense certain documents established that one of the defendants hadn't participated in the actual murdering business itself. As a result, that man got his death sentence commuted to life in prison. Now, did that turn you on?
Hello.
If it did, please keep it yourself because we really don't want to know. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Masturbating to a completely random court case. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about the prosecution again. Yeah. What did the defendant do? Oh, yeah. Sexy,
There we can
sexy
throw in the
justice.
hung jury.
Objection. Yeah. Hung jury.
That's some hot, steamy justice right there. Oh, yeah.
Hot, steamy justice.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway.
People. Oh, my gosh.
I know how to stop him, though. If I were to get the call, I could take one for the team, for all these poor librarians. If I could get the call, I'm going to make it good for him. I'm going to be sultry, and I'm going to be sexy, and I'm really going to read it to a point where he falls in love with me, and he can't have it from anybody else.
He's gonna ask for you.
He's going to ask for me forever, and those other poor librarians are off the hook. Just an idea.
You are a prince among men.
I try.
So in case that guy's listening, here's a list of some John Grisham titles. The Innocent Man. Camino Island. The Client.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Partner.
Yeah.
The Testament.
Yeah.
The Reckoning. A Painted House.
Keep going.
The Rainmaker.
Don't stop now.
You getting close?
Yeah.
The Whistler.
That's awful.
Rogue Lawyer.
None of this is doing it for me.
Not
I don't
at
get
all.
it. Like, there's nothing in it.
What is wrong with this guy?
Oh my god.
Anyway.
$50 says he's a lawyer.
Or a judge.
Or a judge.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was
funny.
awesome.
That was that.
I wanted to throw something out there before we're done for the night. I forgot about this, and it just came to mind. Our friend who was in the relationship with the dolphin.
Why is he our friend?
So, I found a meme a while back, and it says, it's a picture of a juice box, and it says, juice that makes you come extremely hard. And then there's comments at the bottom, and it says, Baja Blast. Somebody says, that dolphin pussy stuff. The next person says, the what? The next person says, it's nothing, go back to bed. Now, here's what's going on. So female dolphins have vaginal secretions that make a male dolphin just come over and over and over. From this point on, I will call these secretions dolphin pussy jelly. Scientists...
DPJ.
DPJ. Scientists were like, holy shit, dude, we gotta test this, for science. So the scientists
Listening to random court cases.
Right. It's the same guy. So the scientists collected a sample of said dolphin pussy jelly and had a test primate. They swabbed it on the male primate's dick, sat back, and watched the show. Now, you see, it worked, but it worked a little too well. The monkey straight up had a heart attack because it used all of its energy into I want to live in a world where this is a commercial product. I want to say, you know what? I want to die, and I know what to do about it. I want to live in a world where I can go into the local grocery store, pick up a bottle of Smucker's dolphin jelly, and just fucking cum myself to death. The next person said, you need some effing help. And somebody said, sounds like you need some dolphin jelly. So that goes a long way to explain maybe what was happening there.
He's just addicted.
That's this was a pinnacle, this episode.
Well,
I'm kind of ashamed right now.
I think it's funny they said they tested it on a, quote, primate. You know they tested it on a bloody...
human.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, Bob!
Yeah.
Come try this!
See what happens here.
Just do a little because that monkey died.
That would hurt, I think.
Yeah. Yep. I'm spent. I don't know about you guys.
All right, well, I hope you feel enlightened and you've learned something tonight. We always try to teach and educate, but mostly we're just kind of a snapshot of what's wrong with humanity. So,
If you guys listened to previous episodes, I don't feel bad for you. You know that this show's just going to get worse. Yeah. So, but those of you that started with this episode, I'm kind of sorry. So, but we love you and stick around, please.
come back. We promise that... Well, we can't make any promises, but come back. So, Dad, if you're listening, come back also from the cigarette store.
It's been 40 years, Dad.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.